So you're from Lubbock.
Yes.
How was that? How was it growing up in Lubbock?
Lubbock is small. Mm-hmm. Lubbock is, well, I guess not that small. Now it's like 250,000. Mm-hmm. I think it's small just because it's literally in the middle of nowhere. So you have this town that, it has everything you need. Like, you have your one Walmart, one Target,
right?
A mall. It has all that stuff. But there's no big city around it. So there's no really outlet to get to from like a performance standpoint or an artistic standpoint.
Right.
So it's all very stagnant within that city. Buddy Holly is from Lubbock. And if you ever read anything about him, like he hated it and would go on and on and on about how horrible it was from a musician artistic standpoint, which still stands true today because it's.
So it's still horrible.
It's still horrible. It's still horrible. I should not diss my hometown because it's not that bad. But I guess everyone's like that. I kind of feel like people that are in the entertainment industry come from really like weird, small, quirky towns. Yeah.
And that's character building. You're in Lubbock, and then you got the acting bug shortly after that.
Yeah, well, my mom was a theater teacher.
Okay.
So
that helped.
I got it from her, I guess.
I see.
Although my dad likes to think I got my sense of humor from him.
So was there a direction you wanted to go in it? Did it take you a while to say, I really want to do comedic acting, I'm just going to be acting and see if I'm funny?
I think I just learned in high school that I was not good at dramatic acting. Mm-hmm. Or it was a lot more difficult for me. It wasn't necessarily, I want to make people laugh. I think I'm funny. Right. I think that when I'm drunk, but not necessarily something that I made a decision. I think it just kind of happened whereas trying to be serious in that regards is a little bit more difficult. I enjoy it equally as much, and it's just as challenging, and it's a nice breath of fresh air when I do get cast or have a chance to do a project that's not comedic based. But I also just enjoy comedy more. I guess that's what I love about New York is even though, it's saturated with performers and everything, I just feel like there's more talented people in New York, I think, than in LA. Because in LA, it's just, you're attractive. You should be a movie star.
Right. Did you learn anything from the LA experience other than you didn't want to be there?
I learned how important it was to network and how it really is not about how talented you are, but about who you know. So I learned that real quickly. And I also just learned that, it's a business out there, And as much as I want to pretend that it's about the art and people do it because they love it and the passion, it just doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
And not saying that there's not people out there like that. I'm sure there is, but it is also a business first and foremost, and this is, what they're trying to do. They're trying to achieve a bottom line. They're trying to do all this stuff that I didn't really think about, I guess, being, the naive 19-year-old I was when I lived out there.
Did you think you fit the mold at all, or was it a work in progress?
I don't think I've ever fit the mold in my entire life. I think that's the story of my life.
So if you were a struggling actor, actress, you might recommend going to Houston.
I'd recommend any major acting city. I would recommend just staying away from New York, Chicago, and LA. Okay. So I'd recommend going to Philly, go to Houston, go to Boston, go to Minneapolis, Milwaukee.
So you arrive in New York and you knew you wanted to pursue acting, not necessarily comedic, but possibly.
After working professionally in Houston, I really just started to kind of hone in on comedic acting is where I want to go with my career. So that's when I started. I did comedy sports in Houston, so that's what got me really involved in the improv community. And I would just find myself more often than not getting cast in comedic plays versus dramatic plays.
Right.
And I just find I have a lot more confidence in that regards. And I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's just something I'm more comfortable with. Yeah, exactly.
Now, do you have to know a lot about sports for comedy sports?
No.
No, you don't.
Comedy sports is not improv about sports.
It's should be, shouldn't it?
Played like a sport.
Oh, really? Okay.
So you have two teams that compete against each other.
So if you were a sports fanatic and you're like, I'm going to
go to comedy sports, you're going to be really let down.
It's not going to work?
Yeah.
So what led to E-Garage?
E-Garage was an audition. I saw an audition and came out here and auditioned for it to host one of their shows. And started talking with Dennis. Dennis Siri owns E-Garage and CMIC TV. And started chatting with him, and he offered me a full-time position with the company. basically being the face of eGarage.
Mm-hmm.
So my face is attached to everything. I'm the person, the face.
You're the brand, if
I'm
you
the
will.
brand, I
You're
guess.
the brand.
And then hosting various shows that eGarage produces. So eGarage is producing like the open mic, so I host that.
Okay.
And coming up with ways of promoting the open mic, especially since it's a brand new open mic and we're
Right.
not a bar.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get people to come out here for that?
Right.
Hosting the improv group called Improv Nation,
Mm-hmm.
and really kind of directing and creating that. So that's kind of been my big baby, I
Right.
guess. That I also guard and protect a lot too, since I also love improv so much.